We are punya turan jamal. Halo mu turan. Yalan mu turan.
Yeah.
Nisi biniba.
Yeah.
Ade punya turan fulalala. Alonso Fadi. Bagi mama ne punya turan deda. Sagi mama. Nemane punya turan deda. Modu kamala fana punya turan deda. Kapitalo dia deda. Basiru Gabo, Jalo Yadi yang punya turan deda. Bendanda tula jama dedo, jitne bisa. Afia modi yang punya nempanyari, bangkulen kabo yang punya.
Jalibe kumala.
That's right.
Bayru bisirao. Pirinda da mafadao. Yemendune inada punya dulala. Kabung korban ada duri ada di sana. Dia punya dulala.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, Benari.
Bijandro.
Yeah,
I bought some spotlights, so I think that helped with the lightning today.
Huh?
I bought some spotlights, so I'm hoping that with the lightning.
You're on point today, man. Class people.
Yes. You guys doing all right?
Yes, sir.
Are you live yet or not? I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm doing well, excited to be up here again. Woke up early in the morning, do my routine. I ran 10 miles prior to this,
Wow, mashallah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the ritual. I like watching the sun rise up. You wake up, you're thankful that you're 6 feet above, because, I mean, like, I look at life as a gift. So every day that you're up, you enjoy the moments. You instead of complaining, you do your silent prayer and give thanks that you're giving another shot to complete the mission that you're here for, rather than complaining or being negative. So I just take it in, watch the sunrise. I mean, it's beautiful watching darkness and light separating. It's a beautiful sight. Many people miss out on it, but if you make it a routine, it feels good. That's my whole point.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Do you take a Bible with you?
The guy, he's probably.
Invite.
Nah, I noticed that's one of the things that many people that I even associate with, for some reason, they never, invite themselves to this. For me to invite them to come, but hey, my thing is all up to you, like, because I enjoy it, and you're absolutely missing out. But people do, when they see me, they want to look like me, because like I'm physically fit. I'm larger than the average, guy. And they would ask me, "Hey, how did you get like this?" And I would tell them the process. But they always are like, "Oh man, that's difficult." I'm like, yeah, difficult is relative.
Nothing is never easy though.
No, but it's relative. Who decides? You
What
see what I'm saying?
was difficult and what's
Yeah,
not.
who you get to decide it. So the simple fact that every day you wake up, like you're conquering that. Because when I'm lifting weights, I would feel this pain, pains in my muscle, but it helps release that, dopamine, in my body. It just makes me feel, wonderful.
Yeah. That's good. Nka borle de bare ndega tribula boro like.
Yeah, Sheriff doesn't sound convinced. Sheriff, what me kuma mutade?
Dubai is bang.
Ha.
Well, akaka tirubla boro la kaya la bodo. Kung ilin tama lang ako yung kaya ala jeta so no.
Hey, ida tribulo o sudo nga petred
Yo,
milo.
nko san ne fight be Sheriff la dia more propagate kam because kunkilin tamala la wat ala awali ko wala fote. Muna ne de ka ke dibole kono.
Yeah.
Mugala bi molenje.
Yale ko dibi kono lola. Doron ne ka fongoje.
Hani mode meje bari be fongoje.
Be fongoje lale ha.
That's true.
I saw some people giving shout outs on I think the message Facebook Live. I think it's Modo Musanjai and some Alaji Jafune, hi guys.
Hi guys.
Oh yeah. I just put them on the screen.
Right, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, how you guys doing, man?
Them and all the other audience, and watchers, yeah.
Yeah. That Modu Musanjai, he's one of those constant guys that watches, shout out to you, Mr. Njai. And Mr. Jafune too. So thank you guys for joining, man, and staying with us. We appreciate that.
And
you were saying something?
No, I was gonna say, it's I'm glad people are coming, engaging in these conversations because generally, most platforms, what I see is everyone agrees with one another. Like that is practically impossible. There has to be somebody that sees things differently. We discuss things differently. But if we all think the same, that doesn't really change anything.
Yeah, that leads to actually groupthink. So
the group thinking is a problem, because I've had where people they'll tell you, "Oh man, you're crazy," but how do you know? Like you're calling me crazy because of the ideas I'm presenting. You've never done these ideas. You never studied these ideas. Oh, take any attempts to disprove what I'm saying. But yet you think that I'm crazy. You have to try it first, and then tell me later whether I'm crazy or not.
Yeah, so that sounds good. But we also have Bineto and Derimbai.
Oh
Adam.
yeah, Bineto, that's my sister.
That's your sister, yeah, man. She's a big time supporter. I do pay attention to her. She's always on each show that we have on, and she is very supportive. Bineto, Jerejev,
greetings.
Bineto, Suma sister, Fuma dem break of my support, So
yeah. So uncle, Janice Showbestar, Lalialong, be Sanyang, combo out be in yellow lumbi, because you've been calling with
UDP, it Black Lives Matter.
We're not there.
If I imagine Black Lives Matter, ni be to safela duma daw like a yellow like yanim black. UDP itelka yellow like yanim black safero. Andi la manyal manjam fanyola.
But
yeah, I need to understand what that means, man. No,
because Black Lives Matters, they have a social justice.
No. Y'all on Black Lives Matter be nyaming, huh? Mo jamal bi je mal la fika to nyaming for wala myente kwa. Ndel bene morphingol be nyokane. Andu nga ne morphingola. Ni lafte ni dia jama ka ke wuli ala kanti wala albe tubabol kong. So you tell ke fankela ko enin tubabol diata nin ku kilin tata wrong rek ye dula jani UDP fanan bole nyam imagine Adamo Barrow be diari nun mo fongote hanyi lay kuma fo Adamo Barrow ma bariya ama hani wiki kilin si ya kabrini Adamo Barrow kuyata yaje tubabol e mo fingol kalamuta nyame Adamo Barrow UDP kalamuta wole nyam internet UDP na de jani
barata banda korela kumola manda karela kumola
ngo
muna kila siribi monsonko
ha
Look at him.
Yeah, why are you disagreeing?
Well,
What do you disagree with?
nga South America ko ni lafta ini morphing e dianya banko kang fal base tubabol kong.
Yeah.
Morphing be ma tubabol kong.
No, but I'm speaking in generality. Of course
Okay.
not. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Even speaking in generality, if you look at the experience of African Americans, America Banco Kang, there has been a systematic and institutional racism in this country.
Historically, yes.
Well, not even to now, even present day.
No, but what I mean is, right? For
Yeah.
instance, like let's say Foloto, let's say some, but up all the way to the 60s, there were laws, ordinances, mialonko, it's specifically about Folako, morphimo, kenyin kenola. You see what I'm saying? So today in America, those restrictions are not there. I'm not saying model bije mialonko, they're not gonna try to apply that, but it is illegal, in fact, to do that. Back in those days, it was not illegal to do that. That was the law. So what am the difference nyente? So sign near jibe, when you have like a sense of entitlement, which is today, wala bekere mafoko, you know, to our system on just because you're luanyan safe, molbuka luanyan tinya. That's not what I'm talking about. So I'm just speaking from a realistic point of view.
But you have to look at the genesis of the Black Lives Matters. When it first came about.
Because first of all, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
In a movement or Nita the yellow website or follow read, right? It's not even about coming about Black lives. Let's begin with that. So to wala na to is the to kumaya telephone because first of all, Nita the moya tubabo, akoeko Black Lives Matter. How can you argue with that? You cannot argue with it, the slogan right there. But then ni not account more milk afoko all lives matter. Ikafoko will, there, these people are racist. That's crazy because now you are saying nobody's life matter other than yours. So
No,
when you say
No.
I disagree with you on that.
Well, let me finish. Let me finish my
Go
point.
ahead.
Then you guys can come in. Let me finish
Okay.
my point here. Okay. You see how quickly you guys, both of you, are triggered. But the way I look at it is, I'm going from a realistic point of view where, I go to their website, I go to someone's website, I study who they are, not what people are telling me, what they really stand for. You see, this is a tactic where you want to shame the people who are bringing you to reality. Because, like if you're saying, people cannot say all lives matter, you have a motive where you're trying to force people to think like the way you think so that you can achieve, your goals. Because if you go to these websites, you're going to read and find out who these groups really are, who's backing them up, and what their goals are. They are all written out there. You see what I'm saying? So regular people can, try to, people are bringing their own meanings to this. But go look at Act Blue, for instance. George Floyd, when he died, all that money, they've collected so much money from that, right? You follow the money, you know where this, who this organization is. The money is collected, by, Act Blue. Act Blue is the middleman here. What is Act Blue? Act Blue is a democratic fundraising, organization. So if you're collecting money, people are giving you money because you're saying you're doing this for black people, because black people are oppressed, black people are getting killed. How is this money finding its way to Act Blue, you know, into the Democratic Party's coffers? You see? So people are just looking at the surface, but you have to look at the deep, deep part of everything. So that's what I mean by we have to get real here.
Yeah, well, Number one, you have to realize that the Black Lives Matter is a movement, and it's not composed of only black people. Majority of the people that supporting that movement are actually white.
Now you see that's a problem.
No. I'm just saying. So you
But
come
that is a
over.
problem.
No, it's not a problem.
That is a problem.
No, it's not. Because if you're going back to history, from the civil rights movement, the freedom riders, and all those people who advocated for black votes in
Okay,
the country.
you're speaking of what is in the mainstream.
No, I
You know,
mean, if you're talking
but
about
but
facts,
but I'm just telling you right now, right?
yes.
Personally,
Uh-huh.
me that's sitting here, like these things, I'm not speaking just from what I've seen on television. I can show you pictures. Like I have been in protests. I have been a part of these things where I'm giving speech. The ordinary black person's idea of what they see as black power movement and what is being presented on TV. Two completely different things. I can assure you that.
All
Yeah.
right, we have
But
to
we can
we can
actually
We
do
can,
something else.
but one point is UDP is a political party.
So
It's
is
not.
BLM.
It's not a social. It's not a social movement, and UDP is.
So is BLM.
No, no, UDP is not a movement. It's a political party, and UDP has been in existence since before Adam Barrow came to power, and they've been fighting justice in the Gambia since during the time of Yaya Jammeh. So
What
the
justice
equate
are they fighting now?
what justice? Well, don't pretend like you don't know what's happening in the Gambia. We all sit here and criticize, the wrongs that are in our country, and they need
Well,
to be right.
we're about to get into that.
and we're about to get into one of those right
Exactly.
now.
So let's go on.
All right, so guys, so wherever you are, thank you for joining us. This is the Gam Recap Show. I'm Ebes and my co-host Afridamus and Sheriff Cora. So today we have some important topics to discuss, and the first that we have to talk about is the dismissal of the military personnel. One of the guys, his name is Omar Sajo, and he was dismissed back in 2017 from the military, and he was a corporal, and he was accused of being a son of a warlord. You guys remember that Salih Sajo guy from Casamas, who led the MFDC rebels. So
Mm-hmm.
they accused him of being his son, and that, in 2018 he was, trying to obtain a Gambian passport, with his Gambian birth certificate and stuff. But the immigration officers said that among the Gambia Dingodi, so he's being tried right now in court for not being a Gambian citizen, trying to falsely acquire a Gambian passport. But he said that his parents are from this village called Kabakel in Western Division, which is a West Coast region, something like that. So, and this going on. So, I just want us to kind of talk about that, because this speaks to the security sector reform that is undergoing. So, not just him, but I heard, a lot of other people have been dismissed and been accused of being from Casamas and not Gambian citizens. And that, during Jammeh's time, for some reason, they falsely acquired, Gambian birth certificates and got integrated into the military. So I just wanted us to kind of touch on that and see, why is it happening now? Are they trying to purge the military of supposed loyalists, or what's going on? Is it just part of the security sector reform? Is this genuine? Is it realistic? So you guys can go ahead and lament on it. You can start with Afidamus, then share if you can go.
Yeah, I read about this story, and I've seen where people, some are upset about it, or they're pretending to be. Um, but if this guy is accused of being a non-Gambian citizen, um, there must be. I don't think it's just something that is just empty. You see what I'm saying? They must have done their investigation, because it's not that hard to prove whether someone is a Gambian citizen or not.
Oh, why not? I think it's very difficult because,
Okay, first of all,
yeah.
if someone if they say you are not Gambian, you
Mm-hmm.
know, all they have to do is go to Mbolet and Brikam,
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, people like most people they have villages they are from, you know, and they've if this guy is Gambian, right? They should also be able to prove, what Kabilo he's from. He must have relatives, you
Okay.
see, school records, all this is things that can be used as proof. Um, I, I, I mean, I refuse to believe that, you know, they are just being malicious to accuse people of such things.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Sheriff, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I read the article, as well about Mr. Sadi being dismissed from the army based on questionable citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he is citizen of the Gambia or not, I don't know. I don't know how the investigations, were done, but it's in a court of law now. So hopefully, the court, will come to a conclusion, to determine, whether this guy, is a bona fide Gambian citizen or not. But we all know there have been allegations, made in the past, that Jammeh was enlisting people in the Gambian army who were under citizens, and especially elements, from the MFDC rebel group, in Casamance, we are co-opted, into the Gambian army, to serve as a security base point. So with the security sector reforms that are ongoing in the country, obviously, such dismissal or purging of the army is necessary and should be expected. But with regards to the single case, I cannot make any conclusions. But since the courts are deciding, at the end of the day, we'll get to the bottom of it. But the only thing that is surprising to me is, out of an army of several thousands, why is only one person being singled out? If the security sector reforms
I think maybe like they're still I suspect they're still doing their investigations.
But just one person after almost 4
No,
years.
I think there are other people involved. So what happened is this: the one guy that went to his case is special because he went to acquire a passport, and then they've said he's falsely trying to acquire one. So that's what brought light to this. But he was dismissed way back in 2017. No one heard about it until now that the case is in court. That it's in light and people are starting to talk about it.
Yeah, but he was mentioned in the press conference.
Yes, by Ibrahim Sankara. He did.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So why would
Sankara said that since then the guy has returned. He returned to Casamance, but they're saying he did not return to Casamance. He's still in Gambia.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is why we had other people dismissed, not named, but this guy was the only one that was named.
No, he was just recently named because his case is in court. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So other people might have been dismissed and just probably it might be legitimate or not.
So he's named. So help me understand here. He's named because he's trying to acquire a Gambian passport, or he was named because he was dismissed out of the Gambian army for not being a citizen or not having a proof of being a citizen.
The two are connected, for not having proof of being a citizen, or they said he's not a Gambian citizen for getting a passport. So that's why his case, is, special because of that, because it's still going through courts. But the others that were dismissed prior to that, they probably just accepted and left. It never made the
because
news.
not every case makes it to press.
Yeah.
Especially unique ones.
That's what I'm trying to understand. So
Yeah,
now
you're right.
that's a passport case, then it makes more sense that okay, this guy. But now I understand, but I just don't understand why.
No, it's a good question actually. That's why I was listening. I was hoping that Ips here would have had like a sort of explanation. But yeah, it also makes sense. Probably it's just a scenario where some of these cases make it to press, some don't.
Some don't. But also, guys, when you look at it in terms of acquiring Gambian documents, it's one of the easiest to acquire. So it could be, one of those cases because you have to look at it from different sides, right? A lot of people are accusing the government or immigration, for instance, for not doing the right thing. They're thinking they're just cherry picking on who to give passports and who not. Because clear point in case was Ahmad Ba was complaining about the Fulani people not being able to get access to national documents even though they're Gambians. So I'm also thinking from that point of view, could this also be the same thing that this guy, for example, you said if someone you know is to say that like they can go to Mbolet or Brikama to get information about me or school records or stuff like that. Some of these people in remote villages, for example, it depends on who you ask. If you go and ask somebody that's not a big fan of me, there's a Amanguluja.
No, but if
You
you
know?
to the alcalos,
Yeah.
you ask the
But the
alcalos.
alcalos,
But you're right
you know,
also because
how
in
much records are they keeping that's dating back
no, but
to
what
this
I'm
guy's
saying,
38 years old?
no, in
And
this,
our record keeping system is not all that, something to
no,
be
what I'm
proud of.
saying is in this, especially like villages, they'll be able to tell you, no nyilmu na lalete, oh, stuff like that, because like quite frankly, like what in Gambia back in the days, that's how they do it. Even
Mm-hmm.
like you go to the, you go to the Safos or Alcalo, and they confirm it. They ask you who you are, your grandfather. They tell from your grandfather, and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know if you guys look at it from a complicated point of view, like the Western system in America,
Mm-hmm.
it's a completely different deal. Where in America, it's difficult to find out, you know, like it's not based on how we base citizenship. Like legally in America, if you're born in America, right away you are a citizen of this country. They keep records of that. Um, so for this guy, if they're saying he's not Gambian, he should be easily able to prove this. He must have relatives.
Okay.
That's my point.
Let me give you an example. Way back in Bullet, there's a friend of mine. You know, when I was in the fourth grade, they came and from Senegal, and he went to school. He went straight to the first grade. Okay.
Right.
So, but he was a little bit my age group, but because he came to Gambia, so he had to start so that his English he can acquaint himself. But now that guy is a teacher in Gambia, and the thing about it is, not many would be able to tell you that he's not from Gambia. He
No,
doesn't
but that
speak
guy is
Senegalese.
but he's a Gambian. There's a difference there because you know he was there, you know, pretty much his whole entire life. If he's a teacher, that means he is trained by the Gambian system. This
Hmm.
is what he would be teaching in the school.
Hmm.
So even with this guy, like right, they are able to. It's different from. This is what I'm guessing. Like this guy, they're accusing of not being a Gambian. He was born and raised in Casamas and crossed into Gambia and become a soldier. That's different, you see.
But
And
Abraham,
the
I,
realities. This
I,
is I've heard these rumors before, even back
Hmm.
in the days that people were coming from Casamas and you know Jammeh would add them to the army. I don't know how true it is, but I'm just saying this has been a rumor that's been circulating around for years, you see? So, um, I mean, I have no proof of it.
Hmm.
So, um, I mean, some newspapers have even, they've written this before, on, some of the internet newspapers they used to have back in the days, you know, some of them have talked about these things.
Hmm.
So, I would think if the government blatantly I don't think they would just go after this guy if they don't have
Something
proof.
viable to prove.
Something, yeah, something, concrete, you know. But they still have to follow a system, and that's what they are doing.
but I think it's the truth is it's easy to acquire Gambian documents.
It is pretty easy.
Yeah, so if it wasn't, then this guy wouldn't have been in the army in the first place. And
Right.
if it was easy to confirm through the army's vetting process that if it was easy for the army to confirm that people were not Gambian citizens, then this guy wouldn't be there. So, like Ip said, somebody came from Senegal, came to Moletba, went to school, graduated, and you can't tell he's a Gambian or not. And now he's working as a teacher. It's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, he does not sound Senegalese, and he's a very close friend of mine. So I'm just trying to see.
Yeah,
No,
let,
what I'm saying,
you
someone
prove-
like that,
how do you
someone like
prove
that.
that?
us be a little bit careful not to leak identities here. But
No. I'm not leaking any ideas, but I'm just saying that, you know, this guy, to me,
yeah,
he's a Gambian, you know,
No,
because he
I mean,
probably.
he's not a Gambian because I don't think the sojourn or the profession of somebody qualifies them as a Gambian. Legally, you have to be born in the Gambia, or
Okay, go
you have
through
to
the
be
process.
Gambia by birthright.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't attain that, you are not a Gambian legally. So what I'm looking for.
Ngo, but yaje nying yo Gambian pride. Wotumwa nkata jota yo minton ika nini kuyata ikan accuse ko manke Gambian not. because munem. So one day kotoke dole bije abenung do kola. I think immigration kotoke dole mabe tambika. So what running gal in your saba ikonyete ite button and Sierra Leone lenko eko and inte mu Gambiano ntela molbe mu Gambiano. So kodo kenyin ya stop ikai konko. So nim hani momi alonka ala parents ol mu Gambiano da wuluta dulado do for Gambiano lomba. Ako oh yes Gambiano lom. Ile kenyo libele if sumi ada baralunga come father bakele But even in a case like that, one would just jotai molleke la kuma furing of. But legally, it's very easy for me to prove to people that, in fact, I am a Gambian. You see?
Yeah.
Because, like you're attached to a village, you're attached to, a lot of different things.
But check this out, though.
Imagine, I was going to mention that.
Yeah.
Okay, Sheriff.
No, na mall, up, ni meta je, sita je, si nyoya diata. After that, ni data je, they will just tell you, what, that them kill most people, and it is true. Most people in the rural areas, sutro, they will not. Jama bad offer. It's a very delicate thing. When I cut off, that's why a lot of people, are getting voters cards, and they're not Gambians because they've stayed there for so long. They integrate into society, and at the end of the day, the acceptance of the people, Mulia and Kaba have very little understanding of the legal requirements, to become a citizen. They consider them to be Gambians, just like what it's saying. It anyway is because of your childhood memories, the affiliation you have with him. To you, so
no, but check this out though. Okay, that same guy going back to what Afridam was talked about, going to the Alcalo to get all the information here and there. Okay, if that guy, because of the family ties, the connections that they built over the years, over almost 30-something years, Niwo Katata, birth certificate, he left out button there, Alcalo, yeah. Alcalo, so probably Mumu Alcalo this time, fang. Kabri wol na do din ni malo. So wow, it would have.
Yeah, of course.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's not a good way of tracing, somebody's birth. By so that guy can produce cool records. He can produce everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, to me, I think to work on the national statistics better.
So pretty much what you're saying is, right? Okay, the whole system is flawed to begin with.
There you go.
So therefore, this type of cases would be hard to even try, because there's a split now. I just saw somebody that wrote in the comment section. Sister Benito said, it was revealed on Freedom Radio that the guy is in fact a Gambian. So again, I just stand by. If that's the case, still, it should be easily proven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should be easily proven. I mean, the government might make a mistake, but that's not. I don't see that happening here. I might be wrong, but
Awesome.
I'll have a wait and see attitude.
All right. Okay, we're moving on. So now let's go to the TRRC, man. So have you guys been following the TRRC
I
about the
definitely have.
NIA trials that's been going on? Not the trials, but the commission for the NIA. So there's this guy from Sukuta. His name is Ustaz Musa Cham.
Yeah.
He came and he was trying to explain, how organized land grabbing was being done by the NIA. So what he said, but I've been on file general. Kwenye wotumo, ako ni mo sa besi niko NIA flow bekata. Gali anyina esa anyina nga fasi data NIA la ako agal kago ya trade ni ka hiba be bunna kilo la be pala nge bade ko ma jana yalla mo jelle be bade.
No, but you see the point you're coming up with.
Yeah.
First of all, the TRRC, to begin with, right?
Mm-hmm.
One, there's a problem. The
Yeah.
translators.
Yep.
The translators, and in Gambia, people like to sit, especially online these days. They want to talk about the incompetence of the government, but we forget that. We're revealing the Gambian people's own incompetence because they accept these things. Not only in those sectors, even look at the interpreter. Every time I have done interpretation here for people. I've worked, mostly with immigration.
Give us an example, man.
Okay,
Because I heard those immigration interpretation sessions are sometimes, comedy.
but this is the thing. Those interpreters, the mistakes they make, that's unacceptable. You're
Yeah.
totally, like for instance, Kabrin Kotokeko, ninge, akum mbe takila.
Mm-hmm.
But he's interpreting it as he said he would knock me down. Knock me down and running me over. This is different. Words carry weights. You
Yep.
see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it. I said, man, if this guy is to interpret for you to save your life, you're done for.
Yep.
And the other guy who sometimes jumps in to correct him, he would speak with attaching his own emotion, like sentiments to it. You don't need to do that. Just repeat exactly what
Yeah.
these people say.
Okay, it's not about
Don't,
you.
yeah, don't. It's not about you. Don't tell us what you want to say. And
Mm-hmm.
and they still kept these people on. I can assure you, when I did that job, if you make, there's no way you could get to that level. You will be fired because in America they require excellence from you, and I see where excellence takes you. Even myself, that's the attitude I have. If I'm a business owner.
Yeah.
And in my business line here in the game, I'm the best, and I hold that over my employees. I
Mm-hmm.
want them to be the best to show what I really stand for. If you
Mm-hmm.
cannot show that, you have to go,
Okay.
because it's not about, the quantity, it's about quality. If I promise to give you quality work, I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving you quality work. I'm not going to promise anything. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be the interpreter, I would be the best in the game. And I
Yeah.
can assure you, man, in this area, this Seattle area,
Mm-hmm.
man, they used to call me every single time to come and interpret
Yeah.
because I took it seriously, like I was the best at it. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it doesn't mean you're just going there, sitting there, interpreting for yourself. There is another person on the other line
Oh,
listening
okay.
to yeah
What you
listening to
say?
listening to what you're saying to make sure you are in fact good at this, because I was interpreting for a guy, right? So I mean, ali Gambia ali na model ne la kol be nyame wato do ite le kata ye la story safe sa ite nata ka wo interpret ilafte ite fana ye ma ko kan du ko ite le angale ka mo it doesn't make sense. Ite ka
Yeah.
story memful kabra ka kente tije. you know. But either way, koto okay. Atepe story mim fokanga ba jeka nyameng nyindal is not going well. But I'm interpreting it exactly what it is. Then to a point, he I ain't so do la do akonte mo for anyama. You know?
And you tell about interpret. I man come with.
I think exactly. You see what I'm saying? But they had to ask the other person on the other line, on the other side, ka confirm fonte nga mandi ka kangomwela. Aka ako nyi manding ko. Ako no nyi na manding ko na senyata nyi na ni me kelo sunjata le fongoti.
Ka keda phone.
Sunjata keda fongo non tele waka fuje. Bari bari ako, you know, I'm gonna for ako, yes, this guy can speak Mandinka very well. And you know, the immigration person ako here, his English is perfect as well. So, but in telling interpreter, you know, nyilka muneke, you know, ni ko killing, it will ko ite collect tang, you know. I mean, come on, man. You know, wale cool betinya. But in coming for, you know, like even the story with Musa, Ustaz Musa Cham.
Wow.
Okay, Ustaz Musa Cham, ala story aman senia dula dolto.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, because I understand where he was coming from, right? And even Nyinlan ko, Nyinan ko kilinti mialon ko, you know, Gambia is Gambian, you know, there is their Achilles heel.
Yep.
You know, we all know, you know, this is a big problem. I
Yeah.
know several people, like friends of mine, even like as we speak right now, I know somebody me along ko. Amanke ko NIA laying kalade.
Yeah.
Nimu ordinary Gambian ol fongol lete. You
Okay.
know, so ni ajen ko Ustaz Chamla diamo man amanya fa bake. I terms dole use milia lonko. Nte I know of more milia lonko ye mol nya ku nyin land kwolto, whereby you are over here, they said this land costs X amount of thousands of dollars, you see? So you take that money, you send it to there, and now you're supposed to own a land. But then what's going to be the next news? The news is, oh, they ended up selling this land to 4 people. Have you ever heard of these scenarios?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
this is a common thing. And so in Musa's story, ngajeko wo a mixed nunje bakele, you know, like several people claiming ownership to a land. You know, how does this happen? You know, because now the Musa mim for wala mutonyat. Kafoko NIL fongol, you know, nyen stampol be bulle. You see what I'm saying? Then that's a big problem. Bari, ate fanang, ate kasilata nyillale. Bari, kodo nyen tuta bulle. Kodo tuta bulu anim fanang, he was still claiming ownership of the place.
yeah.
Yeah, so that to me that's a bit of a problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem. I mean, I understand the NIL sign, you know, ne kuria o kuria lema molbe lalale. Yes, maybe fanang, you know, ma fo wala kera de lafta molye la moeko. Ase keno ustaz fongo ay nyim mo mutala nyaku, right? Nyaku nyin kono wo fanang atening NIL muteri mat. Arada ay nati waranta mari mu NIL. You can understand because mo jamal le bije milia lonko hanara NIL kanyim kusi fak. Ining NIL nene mang affair so nene ini man business ku dundi nyokon. Because sometimes ini mo mil kiliada. So ko business so ini wolle la kol kalabandu na nyokon. Because
Yeah.
ika keso mim fi. Ika do to you know yale nene tita ye jur fi ay falling ay ketandukti.
Ay ke fama na tanduk mu wala na nin jur. Jur la warta ba tanduk te gena warta jur, right?
Jurti ha.
Right. Wala ni mo ko ka almost
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Okay.
So right then and there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking, I'm like, all right, this story, there is gaps here. There is gaps, you know. So where like, okay, these people, if they feel like, ninin criminal or business, okay.
Yeah.
Akuwa man title lafta ita nyame. you must treat nyame be treat la wala nyama de.
Mm-hmm.
We look at it, even mafia, everything. When you do business with them and they feel like you're swindling them or they try to swindle you, this is how it ends up. But this is an area me along call. I hope Ustaz Betonya for can 222 and in ibe nyinko kiss la very well because Hanika be, Hanna manke NILT, ordinary Gambianol, minka nyinke nyola, asiya battle.
So it is basically you talking about the inconsistencies that go along with Fenco, like some of these things, and now basically because the NIA until they come and tell their own stories because they've been named, so they're gonna come and testify at the commission, but like you said, a lot of people can accuse them of things and get away with it because of how notorious, they've been known. But also, like what Esafal mentioned something that a lot of people accuse the NIA of doing their own biddings. For example, Nintendo, if I have an issue with you, instead of going to the police, I'll go to the NIA and probably give somebody some money and they'll handle it. So with some of these things coming out, is it safe to say, even during Jammeh's times, a lot of things were happening and the people were accusing Jammeh of being behind it, with the NIA, when ordinary Gambians were the people that were actually, instigating these things and using the NIA, to, carry out their nefarious actions.
Of course, I mean you have to look at the ends to what is being achieved here.
Yeah.
Okay, like some of these things are very petty. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. You have to ask yourself, what is the Ajame going to get out of it?
Yeah.
You see, so this is why I said the ends.
Just about
Uh,
it.
you know, the ends doesn't make sense here. So yeah, this is why I like when the part where SFL asked Ustaz himself, because Ustaz said there's one of the NILs there who he said he maltreated him, and he gave him the opportunity to tell us what the maltreatment was, and he was offended that the guy said, and you say no problem, you cannot say no problem here. That's not being maltreated. So
He
now,
verbally abused them with nice words.
nice words, but now you look at it, uh it is true. Now the NIAs are in a position where people can, you don't even have to explain, you just insinuate, and the people would fill in the gaps for you. And yes, ordinary Gambians, ordinary Gambians have used the services of the NIA, to intimidate other Gambians. This is
Mhm.
true.
All right. So Nakeba, Sheriff, what do you have to add into that?
Yeah, ma musala case you follow specific,
Okay.
but in general, land grab in Gambia, by state actors, it's not a secret to all of us. Jamila regime, we've seen that over and over. They've grabbed, private lands. They've, grabbed community lands, and I think this is the mission of, the TRRC to get to the bottom of it. Lands, that were seized illegally without the prior consent of, the owner. So Musala case being specific, I can't comment on that. But going back to what after that, they must come for thing. Yeah, NIA, of course, they're not a trusted body because of the things that they've done in the past. So I think Gambians have all legitimate cause, to suspect them and not trust them when it comes to, their credibility. So it's based on their past record. They've been used by Jammeh to do a lot of things, and they've also acted, privately because the ground was there for them to do whatever they want. They were most feared. So the rogue elements, who wanted to go about to enrich themselves, by extortion or intimidating Gambian citizens, they went ahead and did that, and that destroyed their credibility. So they set the pace.
So, but until that, with all of these things that are happening now, how about can some people even start to doubt that even some of those extrajudicial killings that happened and were tried to were kind of linked to Jammeh, I mean, can people say those people were acting alone? Because, for example, some people in the APRC are saying that some of those killings, because they cannot even, have something concrete to link it to Jammeh. It was coming from their, immediate supervisor or whoever the person was. And those people, the supervisors, most of them are dead now. So can people say something like that, that they were individual actors, killing Gambians, at their own will, or maybe someone has a problem with somebody, they use the what they're calling the black boys, go kill them.
Well, dictators don't act alone.
Mhm.
Dictators don't act alone, and in political science, that's what they said. Dictatorships are not monolithic.
Okay.
It's a system that is fueled by a lot of people to serve the interests of one chief. So Gambia Jammeh was at the center, but he had some other people. Mulyan and Kafa, had a lot of power. They can put
Mhm.
funds, to do what they want to do, to serve their own personal interest, and by proxy, to benefit, Jammeh. So Jammeh is definitely going to be charged for everything, but there are key crimes that have been committed, that he would definitely be charged for.
Okay.
And I think the TRRC has an investigative wing, that is capable enough, to go investigate some of the cases that are brought, to the commission.
Mhm.
They're not just going to go around to make frivolous charges or recommendations, against Jammeh or his cronies, knowing that there is no strong case, when it comes to, a court of law. So of course, he will not be charged for everything, and we've seen that in a lot of parts of the world. From Pinochet, to Pol Pot, to other dictators, Mulyan and Kaba have done the most, heinous crimes, worldwide.
Mhm.
You can charge them for everything, but there are certain things you charge them for, and there are other actors. Mulyan and Kaba will have a separate charge, by their own, because they're the principal actors.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean everything bad that has happened in the Gambia has been done by Jammeh all alone. There are other people who have acted on their own, and
He made that normal. He gave those people those powers to exercise them.
Impliedly, huh?
Yeah, because
the environment.
like Sheriff said, yeah, because let's say, yes, these people, some of the killings, when these people, let's say they kill certain individuals, Jammeh might not be the one technically directly giving that order directly, but if, let's say, Jammeh's henchmen who's got their little minions, they delegate this duty to them and say, we want these people killed. So this person can pass the information to Jammeh that there was no time, we know this guy is a strong enemy and he was danger to you, so we had to take him out. What do you think? Jammeh will not be opposed to a situation like that. But with how small Gambia is, and so far a lot of the things that are coming out, I refuse to believe that Jammeh was not aware of these things even prior to them happening.
Okay.
I believe that, he's a guy that he wants everything to run through him.
Kill him, yeah.
So I think he knew about pretty much everything that was happening.
But I
Yeah.
will not, sorry not to cut you, but not give out over Jankasama. I quoted that, Amira, you have a problem with that, Mr. Cham, because of his title as Ustaz.
No. I have no problem with Ustaz. I'm just saying, there are gaps in his story, and I'm not saying whether he's telling the truth or not, but I see gaps there, and some of the phrases he's using, there is things he's leaving behind. That's my whole point. But I have no problem with him or ala ustaz title or anala ustaz na funding.
That's not fun. So okay, going back, we have 5 minutes to wrap up, guys. But I just wanted to touch on. So next Saturday will be the by-elections in Niamina West in Gambia, and it's the NPP versus the GDC candidate. So the GDC, they lost that seat because the previous holder of that seat, passed away, and so they're doing a by-election. So, but now a lot of people are saying this election is a referendum on the NPP, because this is their first going to be their first contested elections in the country. So a lot of people are saying that they're going to use this to test the waters, to test, their how popular their popularity in the country. So what's your guys' take on that? So we can wrap up through that.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, it could be a yardstick. They could use it as a yardstick measure to see, how strong they are in the country. Um, but the other parts that I also see UDP, they're coming together to fight. They are fighting the NPP. They said, "Oh, we're not going to put up a candidate." In this instance, they know they cannot win, so they are pretending like they are backing GDC on
No, no, I
on this.
disagree with you on that one.
No, let me finish. You see how triggered you are.
No, no, because
Sheriff is triggered, but he's
no, no, no,
waiting.
no, no.
He's
They did
waiting
not.
to see where this is going. You
They
have
did
to.
not put up a candidate because initially, even
They
in the
cannot
first
win.
election, no, the
They
first
cannot
election
win.
they did not put up a candidate.
They cannot win. That's why. It's not that
African,
they are not doing GDC a favor. You
I,
see,
Mhm.
if it's a UDP stronghold, trust me, they would have put up a candidate there. But I
Okay.
also I also admire UDP's their fight. One thing you can say about UDP, they put their tentacles everywhere. They know how to bring themselves into the story and be the center of the story. This is good. It's good for them because it's going to increase their popularity around. Like this strategy, I have to say I admire, because whether you like them or not, guess what? UDP is going to infuse themselves into the story somehow. It's going to
Yeah.
happen. Even in this scenario, they don't have popularity in this area. They know they cannot win. But you see how UDP managed to 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 infuse ye fongo suku suku nyin kono fo kunta tek sa mo be la profit. This
but
is good. You
but
know?
Afridamos, I think last week you missed our conversation, with Mr. Cisse, Honorable Cisse,
Yeah.
regarding the position of the UDP when it comes, to the Niamina by-elections. Since when they had the parliamentary elections, after the presidential elections, the UDP never put like a candidate, in that constituency.
Because they cannot win.
No, not really. I don't think at that
Why would
point
they?
in time
I
or
mean,
now.
if they can win, why wouldn't they take a seat? It's good for them in parliament. But
No,
this
it's
this
not.
this type of no. First of all, UDP, right? Is the people not putting up a candidate. You're not doing anyone a favor.
Africanos, you see, what makes somebody noble and respectable is to honor their word, whether it's in politics
Uh huh.
or in any social setting. If you do not honor your word and your promise, you lose respect.
Yeah.
And in 2017, UDP vowed that they are not going to put up candidates wherever other members of the coalition are going to put up a candidate. And that's exactly where they did. NRP put up a candidate against GDC. GDC won. And then their parliamentarian passed away.
I know.
Out of human decency, the UDP is honoring that word and not putting up a candidate, against
Well,
the GDC. I think
well,
you have to comment them for that. But to say UDP cannot win in the Niamina by-election, that's a very bold prediction you're making. But
no, it is in
well,
fact true.
let's wait and see.
If UDP could win, especially now that they hate Adam Barrow so much and NPP, they would have
All
they
them they
would
hate
have they
Adama
would
Barrow,
have
by
put
the
up a
way.
they
Not
would
only
have put up
UDP.
a candidate. They would have put up a candidate to show Adam Barrow that
Any honest,
Jumal and
go,
Jatabaki, yeah,
go. Nyama ilanda farso. Afasi no mbala wala wartati.
Ngo. Ngalo.
Ela moyna ba ite Adam Barrow ba Gambianol bele Adam Barrow ko.
No.
Ite Adam Barrow UDP dulan the Gambia ko UDP silo damen bi ama winning ke.
Niamina woto ya nyanta nyita ndila nun
Na toja fo.
Niamina kono.
Atije Adam Barrow ngo. Adam Barrow dala tolle ka fo ite sa ko mo le ka fo silo UDP nyaado ya fa ba UDP win.
Woto abese ko 2020.
Come on, man. Well, let's see.
Adamo Barrow je sign Adamo Barrow hani European Union alote nyatili ngola le kaitandila ko hey nte I'm a sovereign nation alafta kamin kacha nte na nte na banko ko kacha lam ko bari Adamo Barrow absaka bukol le read Lumumba ngamwe ko ikabe Lumumba chapter 9 abo wole do
every day dugare jimbo mol kendo la bol kachala nga sino la da bondi ni
Adamo Barrow no sign
go
iko sign akata borolla be pare kan 2021 kombala
boy that was serious
Hey Abu Dawes, let me ask you, Adamo Barrow ibe Marcelo Franco tabulo iba karafala la fo ta karafala
Marcelo tabulo
ha
no benna korda fo karafala la le korda
na sino la ne Marcelo tabulo ko gara sino ro jedu
no yalong mon mi Adamo Barrow is not like akabe sino la. Let me tell you something. Adamo Barrow mu molti mi along ko mira lalem Adamo Barrow na bije abe meditation ola altol ko alka Adamo Barrow alka foka hayna abe sino fatela kali abe sino la bang alni ajela abe atara mitinoto dami alon ko Adamo Barrow sino tale anata puru ka diamu aman topiko noma o man soto
naka dun kalwala do
iyo itele afoko agara kalwala 2021 Adamo Barrow ntengaje nyame mfandi where I see it his political party asembobe warakambakele yes UDP sembobe fananal bari ngamira kwa inyantale ye worry 2021 la because it's real and NPP will be damning ngamira sai will be UDP rival ka Bangkok and
you don't think it's the APRC?
APRC will ibelala NPP kanne ibatu draw yaji be ibatu for 2021 is I sutiana
but what's going to be their interest to do that though?
Bro, just watch and see.
Because the APRC said that. So go ahead, Sheriff.
That's a significant problem for the Gambia. Okay, ni APRC lata NPP kang for elections. It's been in question. It's a very important question every Gambian needs to ask themselves.
Okay, I'm coming for it.
APRC to join la NPP can without a vested interest.
Of course, they would have an interest.
And the interest is TRRC and all the other commissions that have happened.
No. Ninte, Adamo Barrow is not going to. No. Come on, Sheriff. Adamo Barrow is not.
Adam Barrow in a mala ward or no?
No, but he cannot do TRRC. No.
No. Thank you. Alfredemos, TRRC mank a court of law. TRRC,
no, I know, but remember now, everybody is watching this, unilaterally.
Come on now.
We are all on the same page.
But Abu, you gotta know that there was another commission before the TRRC,
exactly.
And what happened to those findings from
exactly. So they can only recommend, and that's the only recommendations that they've passed. The recommendation of Mbedi Adam Barola during Jamela corruption or honey killing. Ama tamandi.
No. Bari memina. Ni
tamandi.
Naman TRRC namo tamandi. Adamo Barrow fango bita commissioner.
Ngo. Adam Barrow na nanjana kuma mbe for mole jang 2016 hani killing tija barata munda.
Akabe bridgeolo.
Faba Wi-Fi na la birka male.
No, alo kay alo manyinya.
So,
Serious.
you go.
No, bari
Boy that wrong. You go.
bari siri muna ne ka brika manati nyin kono.
Yeah, lahi do amala lahi timandi.
So
Amala lahi.
you're very good. Yaje a trying ma na sentimento muta falling.
Ma falling because you know.
Na sentimento ako fama
Of course.
fa nati la alla brika ma.
Para that Nigel. But go for it. So
Yes,
I work for it. I work for it.
Kuma anene man kuma fa Gambian oli alota mungang. So you never quarter Gambian man yana la.
But you see, we've been dealing with problems like this.
And we need to change. We need to change.
Forever.
But that's not right. We need to change.
I know.
And the best way to do that is to get this
all jokes aside. Yeah.
Is to get these bad leaders out of government.
Yeah.
We don't have no business to be presiding over the affairs of our state in all seriousness. 50 years after independence, over 50 years, we're still dealing with the same problems.
Yeah.
People have died. They've never enjoyed all the taxes they've paid. They've never enjoyed the benefits that the state should offer them. And, they never even have the environment to do well, in their own life.
Well, also the thing is, if you look at it, I mean, it's so hard to separate long more million long kwa. Imantara ka state house jibe coming ko, nyundula ndebita kanje puru ngamfongo ke millionaire oti animbading all ninterimal. You can understand. So this is a huge problem. Because Gambia is small to a point where even if the government put, let's say even little bit, let's say 40% of the effort and bring awareness, and make it easy for the people, I think things would easily work. It's not only the government, but the electorate also has to be educated, because people, the way they are treated, they're the ones accepting it.
But Adam Barota Federal, Yalo Maninko, Bakina Vola, you never get a number nega Lavanti Gibbs. Maninko, Konibela Selo Taylor. Joe Boyle and Apo Chapi. You can talk Fiji, Delatota.
Yalong Siri, let
me break that down for you. Ibela Balemuntala, Eba Cleala. Chakuna, and Chakula, a parrot, Island Apo Asamba. Near New Fiji, Italatota.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing with Adam Barrow. Adam Barrow, we know that he's not the right leader.
So who do you think would be a better replacement?
Right now in the Gambia?
Yeah.
Come on, man, can surprise him. And there are people in the Gambia that are better than Adam Barrow.
No, I mean, I want to tell me one. I want to hear.
If I'm going to vote for anybody in the Gambia right now, this is me personally talking. I know you're pushing me to a corner, and I'm going to answer that question. I'll vote for UDP.
Oh, what a shocker!
Yes, no, it should be a shock to you, because
so candidate Jumale be UDP means Adam Barrow boot election.
Well, look, new 2021 seat, the UDP will feel a candidate. Whoever wins, the nomination when they go to Congress, will be the one that the party will present. And I believe, UDP is not about a single individual; it's about a party. It has a structure.
But why do you feel the need to slide that in?
Well, because it goes through the democratic process. It's a democratic institution. It's not a party that is dictated by one individual like people erroneously think. It's a political party that has to go through the due process. And when that time comes, they'll feel a candidate.
We'll be waiting.
Well, I mean, and it will happen.
I'm able to speak of it neutrally because I don't hold a vote. I cannot vote. You and I both, we can't vote at this point.
We'll buy a ticket and go to Gambia and vote and exercise our democratic rights.
Yeah. So
who will you vote for that?
Yeah, we could do that. But I'm just saying, I'm looking at it from a point of view where, we need qualified candidates, And
politics aside.
So and also, this idea of all of us looking onto one individual, this is we are still in we are still colonized. We're still in colonialism, because during colonialism, the way our presidents operate, that that's how things are structured. All power belongs to the governor. The power belongs to the governor. So we've seen, obviously, colonialism was in, it has its pros and cons, but it seems like the cons are a lot more. That's why, black people in Africa, we had to kick white people out of there. But now we are still following that same structure, and we're not getting anywhere. Isn't it time for us to think different?
I don't know if you're speaking in general or as a country, but I think there are other countries.
As a country.
Okay, as a country, yes, we have like lots of problems, and the democratic experiment has been affected, of course, by the 1994 coup, and with all the other problems that come along with dictatorships and military rule. So that has put certain setbacks when it comes to the country as
but
a whole.
They still, my point is, the platform they follow to take us there is still the colonial decree.
Yeah, of course, because if you don't have a sustained reform agenda that we will stick by, then these are the problems that we will deal with, and we all know.
Shouldn't we as a people, find a way to deal with this rather than just
of course
thinking that we're going to give it one more shot.
Of course, I mean,
and we just keep making mistakes. Instead of looking at the institution, we are looking at individuals. You see, and it's like we're the one perpetrating the same system that we say we are against. Because what is it? We don't want no system reform. We don't want no change. We just, the way we look at the change is only physical. Like, I like this guy, I want this guy to be the president. End of story.
No. I think presidents should be very irrelevant when it comes to good governance. If you have a good institutional system in place, either president or whether it's a good person or it's a bad person, the institution itself, will put checks on the powers of that president. Because they will self-rectify, and that's what happens in the U.S. Donald Trump could be.
So you believe it's a whole system, right?
Of course, it's a whole system. Yes.
Then why do you often put the blame on Adama Barrow Jatafala?
Ngo hari tantang koso. Ela buena ba? Hari tantang koso.
Ma nyaton ko katarajel.
So abo dale.
That would be a good point for us to close the show from there.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Apa hari se uruba. Nyaton ko katarajel. So.
Yeah, your guys' contributions have been excellent, man. I love it, man. So,
man, it's amazing.
Yeah, so this will be a good point to stop. So until we come your way again, there's the Gam Recap Show. Sheriff, Apidamas, and Eves, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Thanks, guys, man.
Thank you guys. I appreciate all of you guys for watching, Pineto, and everyone else. Thank you so much. All right.
Gam Recap Show. Gam Recap Show, the show where objectivity is manifested to the core. Watch out as hosts Ib Senghor and the erudite Sheriff Cora dig deep into the trending issues including politics, health, education, entertainment, and much more. Join us every Saturday at 5 p.m. GMT. Only. Frontline Financial Services offers affordable tax preparation with the maximum refunds you deserve. We file federal plus state tax returns with free phone estimates, fast refunds, and an advance loan as high as $6,000 on the same day. Your documents can be received through text, email, or WhatsApp, and you can take advantage of our mobile and virtual filing services. Call or visit our website today and let us earn your business. Frontline